Hey everyone. So, as you can see, we got another book here. How Children Succeed. And this is just going to be a short, I don't want to say summary, but we're just going to talk about a few points that the book pointed out that I thought was interesting. So, this is another book by Paul Tough. I've read one of his other ones, The Years That Matter Most. So I decided, why not pick another one out? So I got this one, and you can probably guess what I'm going to be talking about from the title. But character. That's pretty much what defines character. It's what defines our identity. And our identity defines pretty much the type of things we'll do and how far we can make it in our situations and circumstances. So the seven, oh, I'm not sure exactly, seven. Yeah, seven, exactly. Are the seven characteristics of a good character, we can say. It is grit, self-control, zest, social intelligence, gratitude, optimism, and curiosity. And those are pretty much self explanatory for what's going to happen. But some other points of this book, or not what's going to happen, but those are pretty much self defining traits. With they just define themselves. Like single word, just curiosity. Pretty much defines itself. But another thing that I thought was interesting, and this is kind of when you think about it, it's kind of true. He talked about how both rich and poor teenagers, they both have, I want to say equal chance, but they both have a chance of becoming depressed. The poor teenagers, because they're so poor. Well, I can't even say poor, but because of people who live in poverty, they tend to have more issues, especially with parents. And issues with parents, that leads to just a greater chance of being in counseling, a greater chance of having worse grades, a greater chance of again being depressed, and higher crime rates. Less. I mean, not less, a higher chance of partaking in drugs. But rich kids also have the same problem because of the expectations that are on them academically, and you could say socially. They might have some things where they might have might have to dress nice for a certain situation and they don't want to, but they have the equal chance to be to have these bad traits, which is it's pretty surprising. That's pretty surprising. And another thing I should say, test. I'm pretty sure it's called the ACE test. I'm not sure if it's the ACE test or another type of test. But it's because while reading this, I took two tests that they talked about, and we'll just go with it. I'm not sure if it's the ACE test or not, but I took it and I received a 4.5. And this one was about grit, basically testing your grit, which I found out that with the questions they asked, like I have grit, and basically you find this what they call grit, which is if you don't know what it means, it's like your ability to keep going even when times get tough, basically. And I found this through exercise and through through dieting, not dying, through dieting, because I was exercising every day while on a diet, and I had some pretty bad symptoms. But because I wanted to reach my goals and symptoms, I don't know. I had bad sleep and other things, like my life pretty much well, it wasn't the normal life anymore. You know, obviously with some nutritional deficiencies, I wasn't performing optimally. And but I still decided to keep going because I wanted to reach my goal. And with that, I guess I found grit because now, you know, with that, I learned the habit of reading books. Well, I've already read books in the past, but reading religiously, religiously. So you can find your grit too. Get your thing that keeps you going, or find it by partaking in a high risk situation. Now, I don't know if it was my thing was particularly high risk. Well, yeah, it was high risk, but it's like different. Like waking up hungry every day for months. When you think about it, like something bad could happen. That was high risk, but by high risk, what they mean is like high risk socially. Like say you have to give a speech. This is a great example. We can come up with this off the top. You have to give a speech and you're very nervous, but you work on it and you work on it and you work on it and you want it to be perfect. So you read a book on how to give a perfect speech or something. Just going through that and going through the grit of not giving up to learn what you want to, you can learn grit too through a situation like that. And of course through other things like retaking tests and quizzes and redoing homework. You can learn grit too to be able to do things do things optimally and to keep going basically. So this was just kind of my short. This was just a short. I don't want to say summary because, like again, I said in the past, I don't really know what to call these, but just some key points that I liked in this book.